You're welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. So on ASUU, Conua, Namda, the real thing, the question is there a need for Conua, Namda? I'd like to start with you.
There was no need for those bodies to come up. I think from observation, they are politically motivated. They are the handwork of the former Minister of Labour. He was the one that sponsored them so that he can be able to break the backbone of ASUU, because at that time they were on strike and negotiations were going on, and the president of ASUU was not ready, to step down on the demands, which were genuine, because they were asking for the restructuring of the university, for the school, for the library to be well furnished, the whole school system to be properly furnished, and Ugige was not prepared, to give them what they wanted. That was why he went behind to sponsor this group, and he's not going to do the academic anything. They are happy now. Those who form Conua and Namda, they are happy. But a time will come that the issue that ASUU have been fighting for we also affect them, and at that point, how are they going to face government? It's like a snake that has two heads. You find it very difficult to move, because if one head is going to this direction, this head is going to this direction, that is what is going to happen to them.
But they have said in several times that they do not believe in strike, so they won't be going in the direction ASUU is going with the federal
But
government.
with the kind of government we have in Nigeria without strike, can they get anything from government? ASUU that are going to a strike, is it that ASUU is interested in strike? No. They will first give ultimatum to government that we need this. It is when government fails before they go on strike. So which strategy are they going to use to get their demands being met by the government? They must go to strike. And there's nothing wrong with strike. Protests, strike are genuine tools of confronting, checkmating the excesses of government all over the world.
But where do we draw the line, though? Because when they are so repetitive, it takes so much effect, even on the students and the parents.
It is when government come to its senses to see that it plays its role as a government, then there will be no strike. If government, the association demand for something and government meets those demands, will they go on strike? The answer is no. So it is not the union that are calling for strike, it is government. All the things that they have been demanding for instance, the last strike that almost lasted for a year, they were a memorandum of understanding signed as far back as the time of Yaradua, and the government refused to meet them. And you know that government is continual. They were blaming it on that government, but all the benefit they inherited from those government, they didn't reject them. The negative things that they inherited, they are trying to pass it over. Government is not run that way. It's like a company. If you are employed as a managing director, you inherit both the negative and the assets. That is how it is. So if the company was owing before you became MD, you make a way to pay those debts. And the asset that you inherited, you manage them for the benefit of the company. That is how government runs. So, but in their own case, they will tell you that this agreement was not signed under them, that it was signed under so government. But that government is no more in place. But the money that you inherited from that government, you didn't reject it. You accepted the money, but the debt the government is owing, you say you were not the one that created it.
Government is still government.
Government is still government. Government is continuing. Whether it is APC or PDP, you have to continue from where the last government stopped. That is how it is done. So for them to be passing blame all over the time, and they are known for passing blame. They always pass blame. For 8 years under Buhari, it was blame game from 2015 to 2020. Even at the dying minute of Buhari's government, he was still blaming PDP. It's only in Nigeria you see such thing. Government have to take responsibility for its duty. If government plays its role, nobody will go on strike. So for Conua and Amanda or Namda, for them to be saying that they will not go on strike. I think they are just daydreaming, because a time will come that they will go on strike. What if government refuses to meet their demand? Right. Are they going to continue to work if their salaries are not being paid, if their allowances are not being paid? Are they Father Christmas? So let us watch and see whether they will be able to fulfill their promise.
Okay, let's look at it from the angles of the academics too. Conua was formed as a breakout of OAU, rather from ASU. They had internal issues, and the president, Niyi Sumonu, was insisting that the union was formed to serve their own interests, to protect their interests. And we have seen member universities join Conua just from the OAU breakout. So do you think there is a need for that, given their position that they need to protect their own rights and selves?
You see, when people try to just be clever by half, that's what you see. ASU over the years has advocated for better conditions in the universities. Not just ASU has not just pushed for welfare. In fact, ASU has not even majored in welfare issues. And one of the benefits of those strikes was the establishment of the Education Trust Fund, the ETF, which has planted structures across Nigerian universities. So the formation of these unions was just to help some people who pledged loyalty to the federal government, the government of Buhari, that they were not going to go on strike. If you even look at the judgment, the judge just cleverly, struck out ASU's case on technicalities. One, that at the time ASU took the case to court, the two unions had not, the gazette for the two unions had not been issued. So that means they were not registered. So that means ASU went to court in regard to non-existent bodies. Two, then you now went in another direction and said that the Namda, that ASU went again, was going against the National Association of Medical and Dental Academics instead of Nigeria Association. What is all that? You now strike out a matter where that is clearly talking about upholding the labor laws. That was why NLC was kicking. Otherwise, in other sectors, why don't you have a plethora of unions? You see, and some of these things too. One other thing is that some of these unions is actually the check-up dues of members, and for government to get more revenue. Yes, is government funding them? No. Government is even saying that some statutory bodies is not going to be funding them anymore. So the point is, those academics who are embarking on this fishing expedition, I wish them well, but it won't get them anywhere. We saw a lot of this under the military. Where did it get to? Nothing. Betraying your colleagues will not take you anywhere, because you look at it. What has ASU been fighting for? Improved standards, improved conditions of teaching, learning in the universities. Is there anything wrong with it? ASU was talking about IPPIS. Reform the IPPIS. But you came out to say that certain persons were arrested for tampering with IPPIS, for milking the system. Was that not what ASU was it? Was that not one of the things ASU was talking about? And other demands, other end allowances, which you've not paid them. And then what you did was, at the same time you were negotiating with ASU, you were encouraging some people, to set up Conua and the rest of them. But let me tell you something, they won't go anywhere. They won't last. Eventually, they are still going to come back. They are all going to go back to ASU. It's just a matter of time. We've seen these things happen again and again and again, and nothing came out of it.
So let's review the effect of this now on academics, the education sector, higher institutions of learning. Well, what do you think this will come to? The new association unions?
Well, I don't think it will amount to anything. As I've said before, that it will weaken them, especially if they have demands to be made on government. It will weaken them. As I said, I drew an analogy from a snake with two heads. You know, one will be going to one direction, the other will be going to another direction, and they will not be forceful in their demand. At that point, government will have the advantage over them. But if they unite, you know, there's a common saying that united we stand, divided we fall. People don't know the enormity of that statement. They commonize it, and that is one of the reasons Nigerians are being pushed to the wall, and it seems that there is no more resistance from them. What is happening in Nigeria cannot happen in other countries. So that is what will happen to them at the point that they will need something from government. They will not be able to speak with one voice. They will be speaking with different voices. ASU is there, Namda is there, Conua is there. So they will be giving different directives, asking government with different voices. They will not be effective getting demand from government. So at the end of the day, they will be the loser. But if they unite with ASU and speak with one voice, it is there they will be able to get something from government. So it's not at their advantage at all.